When we talk about investment opportunities, of course, there are different stages: early stage, growth stage, pre IPO, and even listed companies. Industry is big, so we have variety. But when we say big, yes, when we say big, I think we should understand how big the industry is. I know numbers are very common. And so everyone says gaming industry is that big, annual revenue is that big, mobile game, PC, console. But first we should understand why people are investing in that industry, or not on the investor's perspective, why people are establishing startups in gaming industry. What is the opportunity? Why don't you establish a why don't you establish a startup in comic book? That's the question. That should be the question. Why? Why the gaming is so hype? Because that question, sometimes maybe we don't know it. We don't know the exact answer, but gut feeling, the startups coming in gaming, governments are supporting gaming, and so on. So that picture shows how big the industry is. So the industry is music industry, movie industry, comic book industry, windsurf, kite surf, wave surf, just total, all of these industries, still not one single gaming industry. So you can look into the perspective like this. When we say gaming industry is over 200 billion US dollar, that means it is bigger than the total of music, movie, surf, comic book, and some more. So that is the entertainment industry. That's why that's so big. So let's remember what happened in 2022. In mobile gaming, approximately 110 billion US dollar consumer spending, 92 billion US dollar PC and console spending, 90 billion downloads in mobile gaming. So lots of big numbers, but first time ever since a long period of time, the game market shrank. So every year game market was getting bigger and bigger, growing, but in 2022 it shrank. Of course, the main comment, the main opinion about the reason is post-COVID. In the COVID game, the market grew faster, so it shrank post-COVID. We can also discuss some other reasons as well, but at the end of the day, it shrank. So that's the fact. So in reality, as end of 2022, the market is a bit blurry. On the other hand, we see a significant increase on the subscription trend in every aspect. Even in hyper-casual, we see subscriptions increasing, hybrid casual, casual. All the games are putting more and more subscription feature. But you can see from the console, the total number of subscriptions on Xbox, Nintendo, and Sony platforms passed 100 million. And Netflix entered the market. So now it's a new player, new platform in the market. And 2022, I think it was a shiny year for Web3 game companies. More than 700 Web3 games were launched in 2022. And if you check the blockchain activity, it formed almost 50% of the total blockchain activity just by games. So if you remove the games, blockchain activity will drop significantly. So it helped a lot to the crypto blockchain industry as well. And we see last year and even this year an increasing trend for the cross-platform games. Mobile was rising, PC was in a downtrend, but now it's changing, but especially with the cross-platform games. Yes, as I mentioned, 2023 still cloudy. Still cloudy in many aspects. We have good, exciting news. Apple Vision Pro was announced. We'll see the effects to the industry. Sony reported over 40 million sales of PS5 since it's launched. But on the investment side, it's slowing down. The first half of this year, 265 gaming deals by the 265 deals by the gaming VCs completed. In 2022, the total number of deals were 944. So looks like at the year end we will see a significant downward trend on the number of deals in the gaming VC market. VR is growing. It is expected to reach 2.5 billion US dollar with 40 million users. It is a significant number. Still, it's small. Still, the number of devices in the market is small, but obviously it's growing. Obviously, there are opportunities in the VR space. And coming to Turkey, right now, the official numbers say there are over 500 studios in the market. If you ask me, there are more than 1,000 studios, game studios in the market. But of course, it depends how we define the game studio. So two friends establish a studio, start developing games. Is the studio or not? For me, yes, it's a studio because you can be successful as a single founder. With one person, you can have millions of downloads. And we have seen these in Turkey. So we cannot ignore people, friends coming together and developing games. We cannot ignore them. If you look in that perspective, I believe there are more than 1,000 studios, but established with certain capital, legal structure, we see more than 500 companies in Turkey. That is super significant. That makes Turkey one of the most important development ecosystems in the world. And as we always say, it's not only about the numbers. It's not a numbers game. So the ecosystem, we see a pyramid. So we have the top tier companies generating huge number of revenue and huge number of, reaching huge number of players. So we have the top tiers. We have the unicorns. We have the medium-sized companies, let's say 30 million, 50 million, 100 million US dollar valuations. And we have the startups. We have the growing startups. So it's a perfect ecosystem. And more than 20,000 people are working in this ecosystem, have that knowledge, experience. That's also super significant. Of course, this year, Turkish ecosystem had also affected from the slowing down in the gaming investments, but especially early stage investments have slowed down. But solid game companies are not facing difficulties to raise funds because for the solid, stable game companies, still the opportunity is the same. So as we discussed, Turkey, Turkey, the numbers also show it is one of the hottest market in the world in terms of gaming deals and amount of the investment. Turkey ranked at top 5. So especially significantly growing in the last couple of years. And we have full of opportunities in the gaming industry. Obviously, mobile is growing fast. It is the opportunity. PC made a comeback. So I'm an old PC gamer, so I'm happy to see PCs coming back. PC games are under development in the ecosystem, which is very valuable both in Turkey and in the other ecosystems. We see some development, some progress. Subscription business, as I mentioned, is growing. It's bringing another type of opportunities, another type of monetization way, and healthy monetization way for the game companies. Console the same. So still opportunities are here. That's my message. Of course, generative AI will change lots of things. Maybe we started to use it in the last year, maybe not even a year, in the last 6 months we started to use generative AI. That means we don't know what will happen in the next 6 months. I see a huge opportunity for the game companies who catch that trend and start using the AI in their development, in their not only game development, art creation, digital marketing, creative creation, even texts. In everywhere there are lots of opportunities to use the AI. I know even anyone on the street talks AI today. But that's not the issue. For a game company, gaming means it's high-tech business. If you check traditionally, always the game companies use the top technology. Because we need it, because we are servicing millions of people, that means we need to use the top technology. We are not, that's not comparable with the people on the street. That's not comparable with the ChatGPT asking a question to the GPT and getting an answer. So that means there will be game companies which are using the AI efficiently in their workflow, in every aspect of their operation, and there will be game companies just using GPT. And all of them will say we are using AI. So I can clearly say in the next 6 months, 12 months, we will see a shift between the game companies, which the ones who efficiently use the AI will create a significant difference. The others will just say, I am using AI in their pitch decks, in their presentations, but in reality, they will not be using it. So it's just a heads up. It's an opportunity, huge opportunity for the industry if we use it. Of course, we have challenges as well. Talent is a big challenge for the industry, not only in Turkey, everywhere in the world. I see 2 ways of the challenge. The first challenge, game companies cannot find the proper talent to work with. That's the fact in Turkey, that's the fact everywhere. On one side, we say, Turkey is full of talents. That's absolutely true. Absolutely true if you compare with most of the ecosystems. But still, that doesn't make it's easy to find the talent in Turkey. Still, it is hard to find the correct talent, super talent in Turkey. That's the one side. Another side, in my opinion, there's another challenge. The talent definition is changing. A game company needs really super talented people, super skillful people, the people who develop themselves every day. A game company doesn't need people who knows retention rate, who knows monetization, who knows subscription. I mean, it is very easy for everyone to put a no ads $4, $5, $6. It's easy. Check the game in the market, see what the others are doing. You can put a no ads $4 package. That's the easy part. I'm not talking about a talent like this. That is an ordinary person. That is an ordinary talent. This industry needs the superstar. So the people in that industry should be the superstar. Should be self-learners. Should develop themselves to be the superstar. That is what game industry needing, and I believe that is the biggest challenge for any game company, because yes, we have 500 studios in the country, but we don't have enough talents to fill into these 500 studios. That is the same case everywhere in the world. So I cannot say if we go Korea, that's a problem solved. Everywhere it's the same problem. But every game company competing to thousands of game companies. There is no market entry barrier in this industry. There is no regulation to stop others to enter. So you are competing with a startup in Brazil, with a company in Korea, China. That's why you need the best talents to compete with them. User acquisition, of course, we are all aware. It becomes chaotic, changes every day. You test the game, but 1 month later, 2 months later, when the ground launch comes, the cost doubles, triples. User acquisition, of course, became a huge problem. Privacy, another problem. On the privacy side, I'm not a fan of the regulations. Indeed, I'm totally against the regulations. I believe privacy doesn't protect the people. Hard privacy regulations protect the large companies. But that's a problem, that's a fact. Now we have lots of regulations regarding privacy, and it creates problem for the game companies. Data became more and more complicated. That means analyzing the data became very difficult. 10 years ago, it was much easier to analyze the data because there were fewer data and you were competing with the others with the same data. Right now, a sophisticated company can track hundreds of data points, even thousands of data points, and you need to analyze them. And every team member should be capable to understand and analyze all this data. Competition and investment, I have already talked. Monetization, retention. So we are also discussing lots of things as a challenge in the industry. So that means this is not a blue ocean. Of course, we are always looking for blue oceans in the industry, in that large industry, but we have the huge opportunities, but if we know how to deal with these challenges, if you can't deal with these challenges, the opportunities are not there because there are other companies who will catch the opportunities. So as a result, if the teams are capable, if the teams are talented, that's a huge industry. In that huge industry, there are lots of opportunities, and these teams will be able to capture the investment partner, whatever they need, easily, because you are addressing a $200 billion market. So just a small market share makes you a unicorn. So good teams, capable teams will keep getting these, whatever they need, let's say. So that is the fact for early stage and growth stage investments. But let's also look to public game companies as well, because on the public side also there is another opportunity to invest. You can also invest to a public stock of a game company. But game company performance, game company expectations are also totally different in the stock market if you compare to a traditional pharma company or a traditional industry company. So if you compare Nasdaq versus the game index, as you can see, Nasdaq already at the same level compared to the 2020-2021, but game index didn't recover. So game index, game index means the average of the selected game companies. So it is 38% down compared to its peak. So at its peak, it was performing much better than Nasdaq, but right now Nasdaq recovered, but game companies didn't recover yet. I see this as an opportunity as of today, because these companies, these game companies, in reality, solid companies, they are generating profit, they are generating significant revenue, they have millions of players, but their price don't reflect actually. In 22 major exchanges, there are 229 game companies. So the majority from Japan, China, Poland, United States are the major markets with the listed companies. Of course, Korea, Sweden, Taiwan following these companies. So, of course, every market, every exchange has its own special attributes, but being a listed game company in Japan is so common, as you can see, and it's a very unique and strong market. On the other side, in South Korea, super developed game market, but we see 11 game companies, but of course, most of these game companies in Korea are very large enterprises. We don't see small market cap companies are listed in Korea. But on the other side, we see small market cap game companies are listed in Sweden. Sweden means Nasdaq North. So it's the Nasdaq in Europe, but it is possible for the small game companies to be listed. But in general, that's the market, and it's almost $1 trillion market cap among these 229 companies. And almost $800 billion market cap belongs to the top 20 game companies. And top 5 game companies forms $620 billion market cap. And when we say top 5, we say Tencent, Activision, NetEase, Nintendo, and Electronic Arts. So as you see, China, US, China, Japan, US. So that is gaming market. A very well-formed gaming market. We see 2 West, 2 US, 2 China, and 1 Japan. So out of the top 5, 3 companies are from Asia. When you check $200 billion market, 60% from Asia. So that's the expected result on the listed companies as well. And the sales multiple, if you check I didn't check the profit multiple because some of the game companies, indeed almost 25% of the game companies among these are loss-making last year. So I checked the sales multiples. So sales multiples are differ between 2 to 5. And an interesting figure, additional figure, Asian game companies generated 75% of the total revenue and 95% of the total profit among these 229 public companies. So we see a kind of domination, a majority from Asia in the gaming industry. Listed stock market game companies, mostly from Asia, they are generating the majority of the revenue in this market. So in Turkey, mostly we are very focused to the West. We check the US market. We do every test in US. We are very, very, very focused to West. But let's don't forget the East, because East game market is bigger. East game companies are bigger. So that's my key message here. So, as Boğaziçi Ventures, by the way, I started without introducing myself. I am Barış, from one of the founders of Boğaziçi Ventures. So, as Boğaziçi Ventures, what we are doing, we are investing early stage game companies in Turkey. We have a quite strong, large portfolio of companies. Most of them are in mobile, but we also invest in Web3 and PC game companies as well. In addition to that, we are running a public trading fund totally focused on gaming. Through that fund, it's easy to invest from Tencent to Nintendo. So all over global game companies are monitored, and portfolio is managed, portfolio is formed, not only according to the financial performance of the game companies, according to their product pipeline. Because we know for a game company, financial performance is not the first priority. Financial performance may change drastically from year to year. It may increase, it may go down. Because everything is about the pipeline. Pipeline means also the new games coming, or the new content coming to the actual games. Because when you have a game, that doesn't mean it will die 1 year later, 2 years later. Or sometimes people talk, you have a game, but it will die 6 months later. No, these companies, these large companies, they have games which are live with the same performance since 10 years. That's why their portfolio, the game pipeline, the content pipeline should be followed. The community should be followed. Community reactions. Community is still in the game, or just the hardcore players remain in the game. They are spending, but they will leave maybe next year. Or community is still there. That means the game will last maybe next 5 years, 6 years. So that is the thing we are checking while managing this fund. And lastly, we just announced at Mobidictum Joy Game Pre IPO fund. So we just established a Pre IPO fund, late stage investment fund, to invest Joy Game. Joy Game is at Pre IPO stage. Hopefully, it will make a IPO at a certain period. So we are planning to invest Joy Game through that fund. So we just announced it in Mobidictum. Yes, that's all I want to tell. And as a last word, we are expecting to see a market of 400 billion by 2030. The market growth, the game industry growth will increase. That's our expectation. The reason, it's becoming more online, more social. All the platforms are getting more integrated. Since years, we always say gaming industry is taking part from entertainment industry. Now it's accelerating. It's getting more and more part from the entertainment industry. Entertainment industry doesn't have any options to compete with the game industry anymore. You are playing from mobile. I mean, we were talking about multi-platform. You were watching movie, and at the same time you were playing from your mobile. Now we are talking, you are playing mobile, at the same time cross-platform, your PC, your console. Social media is integrated to the games at the peak level. The games becoming more and more social, immersive technologies, and now VR is coming. So that means all the platforms are working for gaming. Gaming will be more integrated, will be more in our lives. That means it will accelerate its growth. It is already over 200 billion. Just a bit acceleration in the growth will carry the market to 400 billion by 2030. So we are in such a highly opportunistic market. So if we are competitive enough, if we are talented enough, this market will give us more than we dream. But it's a tough market. That doesn't mean 400 billion doesn't mean it's easy to take a market share. Well, thank you very much for listening. If you have any questions, maybe it's better to talk just after the stage. Thank you.